The third sign that I want to talk about, and really the third one, this finishes the collection of signs that you need to know for this Associate of Arts program, although we'll be building on this down the line. All right, but you need to know that we're talking about signage, which is the way we use things, words, pictures, devices, whatever, to represent reality. And we can use the signs that we develop to make messages about reality, put them in a text somewhere. This will be another video, so that an audience can come and access them without having to actually us being there to give the message in real life. So that's a little preview of the next video coming. But we're going to just be working with the three signs in this class. And this is coming from an American philosopher that lived in the early 20th century. His name was Charles Sanders Peirce. If you look at his last name, it looks like it should be pronounced Pierce, but it's P-E-I-R-C-E, and it's pronounced Peirce. Charles Sanders Peirce. You don't need to know that name, but you do need to know words like epistemology, semantics, which is the same thing as signs and study of signs. So the three signs being icon, symbol, and now index. All right. Another word for all of this, semantics, semiotics. All right. Sorry to maybe confuse you with these terms, but they're going to come to you like that. I mean, sometimes you'll be talking with someone and they'll say semiotics when you're used to hearing semantics. It's all the same. Sign, semiotics, semantics. That's what we're talking about. All right. So an index is a cause and effect situation. And you are so used to an effect following a cause that when you see the effect, you think the cause has happened. Or when you see the cause, then you begin looking for the effect. For example, if you walk into a room and you see some ashes on a table, let's say, or the floor or whatever. Kind of weird. We don't really run into this situation, but you see something black and charred, and let's just say it's a pile of paper, and they're all kind of ashes, and some little scraps of paper are still left, so you knew that it was coming from somebody's homework or something like that, right? Right away, just looking at the scenario, okay, you can tell that there was something. You get more information than just what's on the table, right? Because obviously you're seeing burnt paper, but you get more information. Because how does paper burn? Does paper just spontaneously combust? Well, apparently sometimes it does. Sometimes things and people spontaneously combust. No kidding. Look it up online. Very, very rare, but it's not an impossibility. So if it's not an impossibility, yes, that could have happened. But the probability is so low that you're much better going with the notion that somehow somebody set it on fire. There was a person here with a lighter or a match or something, and they set the paper on fire. So that's how you work with your knowledge of the physical world. Paper doesn't just turn into flames on a regular basis. It's much, much, much more probable that someone started the fire, and if the table hasn't burned or the room hasn't burned, it was a small fire and the paper was specifically targeted. So let's say that you're driving, you walk to you're walking in a parking lot and you look to the side and you see a cracked windshield, and it looks like there has a center and then the cracks are radiating outward, kind of like a spider web thing, right? What are you thinking? So you have information there. That's obviously a cracked windshield, and you're getting that information through the icon, the light photos bouncing off it into your head, and the picture in your mind is representing what's really there. We really don't think of that as an icon. Maybe I shouldn't be using the term that way, but if we wanted to take this to a more semantic or a friendlier scenario for what we're discussing here, let's say I give you a picture of a car with that sort of cracked windshield. So you're holding the picture up here, right? Okay, obviously you're not holding the real windshield. You're holding a picture of the windshield, but it looks like the car's windshield, so you're recognizing it right away. That's a car's windshield. You are holding an icon, but when you look at the crack on the windshield, you're like, yeah, this was caused by a bullet, an arrow, hail, Raindrops or a rock? What do you think? Well, a bullet, it would have a different size of the hole. I didn't say there was an actual hole. There was just like the center and then cracks radiating out. A bullet would probably go through unless it were a BB or something like that, right? So you could probably like move that to the side. An arrow, well, if it had been made by an arrow, maybe the arrow would still be in there because let's say you're an insurance agent or something and you're looking at this, or really an arrow? Who's shooting arrows at a windshield? And you know it's coming at an angle and it hits the windshield. Maybe it just flies off to the side. Probably not an arrow. Okay, is it hail? That'd have to be coming really fast, right? Hail's just ice that forms on the way down. So it would hit the windshield and scatter. All right. Is it a you know, a raindrop? No, never. Raindrops don't cause holes or cracks like this. So we automatically assume it's a rock, and about 95 to 99% of the time we're right on that because we learn how to read the index, right? The cause and effect thing. And usually we get the effect and we can work backwards and say, well, this was here previous. Now, a very, very famous example of an index is Robinson Crusoe, out surviving on the island alone. One day he's exploring the island. He goes to this beach shoreline he wants to look at. He's there alone. He looks to the side and he notices footprints in the sand. He thought he was alone on the island, but he sees the footprints. Then they're human footprints, right? So who can make, there it is. That's the fact. That's what he's getting. But he's able to have extra information because he can think in cause and effect. This is the effect. What was the cause? It has to be a human. And then he begins looking for a human on the island, and he finds his Man Friday. So that's a very famous classic example of an index.